Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to cover my LPL All-Pro teams. Third, second, first, coach of the split, rookie team, and all that jazz. So let's get into it. If you missed my other videos, those are up on the channel, LCK and LCS. LEC a little messier because we have 9 games and then 9 games, and to value much off of 9 games is kind of silly, so maybe all 18 games, but then we also have to factor in how do we affect the winter. Do we take the winter groups into it? Then that kind of hurts Excel and Fnatic. Understandably, Excel shouldn't be factored into it given how bad they were, but I think you get my opinion on the matter. So, third team All-Pro top laner is Ching Tian. I thought Ching Tian had the best K'Sante in the world for quite a while there. This meta really fit him well. Now, down the stretch, they did struggle. That is understandable. That maybe people will be like, maybe he shouldn't be top 3. I mean, there are better players. I mean, not. There are players that actually I do think are better. I think Bin is better. I think Shanji's better. But were they better for the majority of this split? I wouldn't say so. This meta really fit Ching Tian quite well, and he did a fabulous job in my opinion. Second team is Ale. I will say I'm not a huge Ale fan in that compared to other people. Ale was very split push oriented, kind of doing his own thing on an island, and I think that he could have maximized better. But when he did team fight, he team fought well, and he did win his matchups the majority of the time. And honestly, there were a lot of top laners with meh results. The Shy, I mean, he's worthy of being on the top 3 if he plays his best, but he didn't. 369 playing more of a facilitator role, tank role on the team. So how to value that when you're looking at other players that I just think looked better, it's tough. I'm not saying that 369 and Bin and the Shy are worse than these 3 players, but over the split, I thought these 3 did the best. Zika is first team. And I would argue Zika probably deserves credit for being possibly the most improved player from last year to this year. He goes from IG to LNG and really takes off. Is freed and did a fabulous job. Played outstanding this past split. I think he deserves a lot of credit. Given the other players on LNG, especially in jungle mid, I think Zika loses a little bit of, the spotlight. And maybe that's why he also was able to succeed the way he was, that he was not the main target for the enemy. It's kind of funny that the player that most improved probably last summer, 1 letter off of that, Zeka in the LCK. Third team jungler is Kanavi. I still think Kanavi is cracked out of his mind. A very, very good player that, all his carry stats lead the LPL. You will see on the Discord that I will post, like I did with the LCK and LCS, what stats say are the All-Pro team, so people can't say, oh, you're just picking the stats. I mean, using stats to determine these, not necessarily. There are differences there. Kanavi, one of the best, if not the best, carry-oriented jungler in the world. Canyon, probably the only jungler that is better than him outright, in my opinion. Second team is JJ. I thought JJ played outstanding. A lot better than I usually... I mean, I'm not a big JJ fan. I'm really not. I think that... he's a world champion, but I don't think he is great. Now, this past split, he played fabulous. Can't take anything away from him. He did his job alongside Fofo at a level that, honestly, I did not expect. EDG overperforming expectations. I think there's an argument to be made that their coach deserved Coach of the Year. Spoiler, I did not pick them, but I think that is a conversation to be had given how well they did play. Given that only 2 players returned from the lineup of last year, that Worlds lineup. Second team is Tarzan. First team's Tarzan. The MVP on the Discord, according to MVP voting, he had 6.5 votes. Tarzan, a outstanding player, one of the best junglers in the world, has returned to the form that he was in years ago, honestly. Last year was kind of an off year for Tarzan, leaving a lot on the table. But he played outstanding this past split. He and Scout really ran the LPL, and I don't think it's a shocker that he is first team in the jungle. Third team mid is Rookie. Between Rookie and Zhao, I did go back and forth. I feel like Rookie really carried hard for top when Ching Tian had an off game, or the bot lane who really sucked. As far as I'm concerned, Jackie Love and Mark really looked bad compared to what they should be doing. They should be one of the better, if not the best, bot lanes in the LPL and the world. In this past split, I wouldn't even say they were upper half. They were absolutely awful. Rookie having a lot to do with why top ended up where they are. I don't think I need this. No, I will need this eventually. Second team is Knight in mid lane. I thought Knight continued to play cracked out of his mind. In my opinion, Knight, the way Chovy played is really, Chovy this past split added a little dimension to his game that he didn't have before that I think has kept him above Knight in my mid lane power rankings. Well, mid lane rankings, which will come out after MSI again. But that doesn't mean Knight hasn't done great. Knight on JDG just fits like a glove. He's doing great. He's doing great. Even in their losses, he performs. He performs AD, he performs AP. Knight has really just not skipped a beat with JDG. And I don't think many people could deny how good Knight is. Now, surprisingly, I did not expect this to happen, and I'm sure EDG did not expect this. But first team mid is Scout, and he's my MVP. Early on in the split, LNG were dominating sus teams. And then now their record evened out. I think they started 8-1 or 8-0 and ended up 13-3. So what does that say, right? 5-3 or 5-2 to end, whatever. So the early part of the split, they dominated, and Scout looked like the best player in the world. He really did. He looked like by far the best mid in the world at the time, and honestly, I would say he was the best mid of Spring in the world. Does that mean he's the number one mid laner in the world overall? Not necessarily, but when you look at my nose is itching. When you look at these 18 games, Scout was outstanding. He was outstanding alongside Tarzan. I made Scout MVP. I think you could pick either or, but those two players definitely are in the conversation, as well as one other player, which I'll get into in a moment. Damn. My nose is itching. All rookie team to kind of fit this in here so you don't skip the end. YSKM in top lane. That's not a shocker to anybody, is it? YSKM, obviously, a player that really grabbed everybody's attention immediately. He was disgusting. Then he ends up having his heart problem and has not been the same ever since, which is concerning. There were other top laners. Invincible might have been a rookie, maybe not. Zhao Zhu definitely was. Harry definitely was. But YSKM, rookie of the split in top lane. In the jungle, we have Hang. I don't think he had any competition, so Hang gets it by default. But that's not to say Hang isn't in the conversation for rookie of the split. I think he actually did very well. Under the radar, I mentioned in my power ranking video that I just filmed that was uploaded yesterday. He has done his job at a high level facilitating. Now, I would like him to show a little bit more carry-oriented stuff. His stats definitely scream facilitator, and at that, a guy that gives up a lot. That's concerning, but he is a rookie. Hopefully he improves in summer, and hopefully he does better in the playoffs and continues to, kind of do his thing. In mid lane, I'm picking Ching. it was between Ching, Ping Z. I think it was Ching P Hai Chow maybe. Regardless, Ching ends up getting it. Although he lost the job at the end of the split, he had 2 pentakills. So he gets it because he had 2 pentas. Rookies. It's kind of funny. Ultra Prime finishes last place. One of the worst major region teams, and they had 3 pentas this year. I don't think anybody else had 3 pentas as a team. So it's kind of funny that they ended up getting it. Rookie of the split for me is Leave. You had Leave, you had LP, LPC possibly was a rookie as well. Maybe not, maybe just LP and Leave. I don't know if Assam ends up being Assam. I don't know if he had played half the games for LGD last year or not. I think he might have in the end. So it was between those two, and Leave and LP probably were the 2 best rookies overall across all roles. And Leave replaced Viper, and is he Viper? Not yet, but he could be. He's playing very well. He and Pays, replacing Viper and Ruler in LOL Esports, have done a job that honestly I don't think anybody expected. They fit right in there, and a lot of it has to do with Mako, which we'll get into. But I think Leave outperformed expectations. Let's just put it that way for sure. And then Lele is the only support, so he gets it by default. He lost his job to Chow Chow in the end, so that's kind of the deal there. So 80 carry. Third team is Elk. Elk ended up, I think, leading the LPL in damage. He was the carry for BLG. I think that is without question. He should be in the MVP race because of that. Not actually the player that I was going to really talk about for MVP, but Elk deserves to be in that conversation. He was probably the most consistent player on BLG. I don't even think that's probably. He was the most consistent player. And just continuing to kind of, end up being on these second tier teams. I really want to see him at an international event. I think he is world class, one of the best in his role. Second is, I don't need this anymore. I don't think, right? Light. Outside of his builds, I think Light has been more than solid. Really, really crushing it in his role. Unlike Elk, he has Zhao who has performed the vast majority of the games at a high level, but Light had some very big carry performances, very good stat lines, and honestly, leaving LNG, which is kind of funny, and LNG getting LP and LNG having the record they are. Light has found greener pastures, I guess, in one way. But at the same time, I do wonder if, they still had Light, what LNG could be, right? They probably couldn't have afforded all that. That's why LP is their 80 carry, but still, it would have been interesting to think about. And then first team is Ruler. Ruler, obviously, Ruler just kind of showed up and had a pentakill in his first series and did not look back. There were some series where missing kind of held him back, but at the same time, Ruler did not miss a beat. He looked great from start to finish. He continues to be the best 80 carry in the world. So, Ruler's first. I don't think I can sing his praises too much because, I think it's evident. We all know how good Ruler is, right? Third team, Crisp. I pulled an audible. Crisp, I thought, really returned to form with Weibo alongside Light. Unlike how he played with BLG last year and kind of being in a position where he's mixing up his 80 carries with Doggo, Uzi, and Rise. Crisp is doing well with some comfort down there alongside Light and has really facilitated and helped Weibo succeed the way that they have this split when they have succeeded. Second team, Hung. I thought Hung I know I don't have LP on here. I thought Hung really stepped up. He, alongside Zika, really, Hung might be the most improved player. Going from an inter to a player that honestly I felt like carried some games for LNG this past split. A Thresh game sticks out to me. I think a Rakan game maybe as well. He has really performed at a high level, and I think a lot of people are really coming on to the fact that, oh, Hung might actually be really good. He had inty moments with FPX, but now on a better team with guidance from Scout and Tarzan, he's doing work. First team support, Mako, and this is the player that I had a tough time not making MVP. The fact Mako has done so well with a rookie AD carry, no longer with Scout. Mako is by far the most experienced player on the team. He's been around the block. He is the leader. He is the captain. And he, honestly, I think Mako is what makes or breaks EDG. I think that he is, like I said, the reason Leave did so well, and the reason why Fofo has done well, and JJ and Ale. Like, Mako is what is making EDG go. Very similar to how much Ming is responsible for RNG's success when they have it. This year, not so much. Maybe Ming wasn't. Maybe Xiaohu was the reason for their success. But Mako, honestly, part of me wants to audible and make Mako MVP over Scout because I just talked myself into it, but I won't. But I do think it's between those two for sure. I think you could pick either or. Scout being exceptionally, maybe, like I said, the best player in the world outright this past split. It's hard to take away MVP from that. But remember, like I said in the previous two videos, and I'll say again, MVP means different things to different people. MVP can be the best player. MVP can be the best player on a playoff team. Or MVP can be the most valuable player to a specific team. Like, that's a big deal. And I think Mako makes a case for that. I think he really does. Because the second best player on EDG is probably Leave. The AD carry role in the LPL is outstanding. So, I mean, Mako and then Leave, and then it's probably JJ, Ale, and Fofo. Whereas with LNG, they have Tarzan. Zika did okay, but then the bot lane, a lot to be desired too. So I think you could go either way with that. And I should have done Coach of the Year for during Rookie of the Split because you guys aren't going to pay attention. Despair is Coach of the Split. Despair was Coach of OMG, and I think we got to give him credit for turning OMG around after joining the team this past split. Was a assistant. I don't think he was the head coach with FPX before this. Kind of came out of nowhere and turned OMG around. And I think there's an argument to be made for EDG's coach as well in this conversation. Like I said, I think that I think I said it when I was talking about the rookie team. There's a case to be made for them as well. As far as others are concerned, maybe LNG's coach because, oh no, it was LNG's coach, but EDG kind of too. But LNG, it was between LNG and OMG in the end. But I figured, Scout and Tarzan did a lot for LNG. Did a lot. So that's why it's going for Despair. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a supporter. And thank you for watching.